Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for joining us today. I wanted to seek your good wishes and your blessings on this very auspicious day of Ekadasi. And today we were going to do a few things. Read the Ekadasi Katha, whole of it, and then perhaps a little bit more reading from the Ekadasi book about the proper procedure for following Ekadasi. And then we got a little bit more general information about Ekadasi as well. So, do you want to read the Ekadasi first? Okay, go for it.
Okay, Hare Krishna, everyone. So this is Bhaimi Ekadasi or Jaya Ekadasi. So I read the whole Katha today, okay? The glories of Jaya Ekadasi, which occurs during the waxing moon in the month of January, February, are described in Bhavishyottara Purana in a conversation between Lord Krishna and Maharaj Yudhishthir. Once Maharaj Yudhishthir asked Lord Krishna, O Lord Krishna, O original personality of Godhead, O Lord of the universe, Shri Krishna, you are the original cause of the four types of living entities, namely those who are born from perspiration, those born from seeds, those born from eggs, and those born from embryos. You alone are the creator, maintainer, and destroyer of everything. Please describe to me the glories of the Ekadashi, which occurs during the waxing moon in the month of January, February. Also, please explain to me the procedure for observing this Ekadashi and which deity is to be worshipped on this auspicious day. Lord Krishna said, O best of kings, Yudhishthir, the Ekadashi which occurs during the waxing moon on the month of January, February is celebrated as Jaya Ekadashi. By following this Ekadashi, all one's sinful reactions are vanquished. The performer of this Ekadashi will never have to accept the body of a ghost, O king. As far as avoiding liberation and exhausting one's sinful reactions are concerned, this Ekadashi has no substitute. O lion-like king, now please hear this description of this Ekadashi, which I had previously narrated in the Padma Purana. The demigods were living happily in the heavenly kingdom of Indra, under his rule. In the Nandan Kanan forest, which is filled with the fragrance of fully blossomed Parijat flowers, where the Apsaras freely enjoyed their lives, Indra also enjoyed various exchanges with the Apsaras. Once being in a pleasant mood, Indra arranged a dance festival of 50 million Apsaras. In the assembly, there was a Gandharva singer named Pushpadanta. Also, a Gandharva named Chitrasena came there along with his wife Malini and his daughter. Chitrasena had a son named Pushpavan, whose son was Malyavan. A Gandharvi named Pushpavati became attracted by the beauty of Malyavan. Being pierced by the sharp arrows of Cupid, most beautiful Pushpavati tried various ways, such as by gestures and glances, to bring Malyavan under her control. O king, how can I describe the splendid beauty of Pushpavati? She had beautiful arms which resembled the robes of Cupid, and the beauty of her face resembled the full moon. She had broad eyes, ears decorated with earrings, her neck defeated the beauty of a conch. Her waist was thin, her breast was highly raised, her hips were broad, and her thighs were like banana trees. Her shining feet defeated the beauty of the red lotus flower. All her beautiful features appeared even more enchanting because of being decorated with gorgeous ornaments and garments. On seeing such a beautiful woman as Pushpavati, Malyavan became totally captivated. In order to please Indra, both Malyavan and Pushpavati began to perform dancing and singing with the other Apsaras in that dance festival. But since they were attracted to each other, they could not perform well. As a result, there were disturbances in the ongoing performance of the dancing assembly. Continuously looking at each other through the corners of their eyes, they became pierced by the arrows of Cupid. When Indra noticed the perpetual disturbance in the process of singing and dancing, he understood their mental condition. Due to the constant disturbance in their performance, Indra felt insulted and cursed them as follows. Both of you are fools and sinful. You have disobeyed my order. Hence, I am cursing you. Both of you will accept the bodies of a male and female ghost and take birth in the earthly planet and enjoy the result of your karma. After being cursed in this way, both Malyavan and Pushpavati received the bodies of a ghost, began to spend their miserable lives within a cave of the Himalaya mountain. As a result of receiving ghost bodies, both of them felt great distress and lamentation. By the influence of the curse, they could not take pleasure from the sense of smelling, touching, or sleeping. While wandering in the dense forest and cold mountainous regions of Himalaya, they sat down somewhere and began to introspect. The male ghost said to the female ghost, "Alas, what heinous sinful activities we have committed that we have received such miserable ghost body." Feeling extreme sadness, they merged into the ocean of repentance. Both Malyavan and Pushpavati, in the form of a male and female ghost, spent that whole day without taking any food by continuously repenting for their misdeeds. Coincidentally, this day was the auspicious day of Jaya Ekadashi, which occurs in the waxing moon in the month of January and February. Although they were extremely afflicted with hunger and thirst, they did not kill any living entity on that body on that day. They even abstained from taking any fruits, or water. O king, in this way, when the ghost couple was sitting underneath the banyan tree, in the miserable condition, the sun was about to set. Due to the freezing cold and being absorbed in deep thought, they felt great unhappiness and spent the entire night without sleeping. Due to the mental disturbance, no propensity for sense gratification appeared in their hearts. O lion-hearted king, in this way they unknowingly observed the vow of Jaya Ekadashi. By the influence of the piety accumulated from observing this vow, the very next day they attained liberation from their ghost bodies. Thereafter, Pushpawati and Malyavan regained their original positions, returned to heaven through the airplanes. On returning to heaven, they both happily approached Indra, the king of the demigods, and offered their obeisances. When Indra saw them, he was struck with wonder and he exclaimed, "What a wonder! By the influence of which piety have your ghostly condition been destroyed? Which demigod has freed you from my curse?" In answer to this, Malyavan said, "By the causeless mercy of the Supreme Lord, a result of observing the vow of Jaya Ekadashi, which is very dear to him, we have become freed from the curse. O Master, I'm telling you with full conviction that we have been freed from our ghostly lives simply by the influence of devotional service." After hearing these words, Indra again said to Malyavan, "You have become purified as a result of executing devotional service to Lord Vishnu and observing the vow of Ekadashi. Therefore, now you are worshipable by me also. Those human beings who are engaged in devotional service of Vishnu are certainly worshipped and respected by me." Thereafter, Pushpavati and Malyavan began to live happily in the heavenly kingdom. O King Yudhishthira, one must observe the vow of Ekadashi. Observance of the vow of Jaya Ekadashi takes away even the sin of killing a Brahman. The secondary fruits of observing this vow is that one automatically receives the piety of giving in charity, performing sacrifice, and visiting holy places. If one properly follows the vow of this Ekadashi with faith and devotion, then he lives in the Vaikuntha forever. Just by reading and hearing the glories of the Ekadashi, one can attain the result of Agni Stoma sacrifice. Jaya Ekadashi ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. Okay, any questions from this Ekadashi? Every Ekadashi has a special pastime. So this one also has a special pastime to illustrate the benefits. Okay, so let's go into... So what is Ekadashi? It's a Sanskrit word for the number 11. Eka is 1, Das is 10, Ekadashi. Ekadashi is the 11th day after the full moon day, Purnima, and the new moon day, Amavasya. So there are 2 Ekadashis in one lunar month, and therefore 24 Ekadashis in a year. And for determining Ekadashi, it is counted 11 days after the waning moon. So when the full moon is there and then it starts becoming less full, it's called waning moon. And then after there's no moon at all, the moon starts to wax again, become a full moon. That's the waxing moon. So that's the 11th day after the new moon that is coming up, that has just finished. So both are auspicious. Both Ekadashis are regarded to be equal, the one on the waning moon and the one on the waxing moon. Srila Prabhupada asked us to fast on Ekadashi by avoiding grains and beans, and anything made from them or anything that has them in it. That was the general principle, very, very simple. Don't get too involved in the intricacies, perhaps, of following Ekadasi. Just keep away from grains and beans. That was his general mood. And that was so that we can engage in devotional service in what he wanted us to do, like reading, chanting, distributing books, without getting too involved in the nitty-gritty of Ekadashi itself, because it can get very, very intricate, as we will see. This is, of course, referred to as the day of Sri Hari, the day of Lord Hari. So the most important thing on Ekadashi is to feast on devotional service, remembering the Lord, and fast from grains and beans. So what's so special about Ekadashi? Ekadashi was given the name was given to a young girl who manifested from the body of Lord Vishnu on the 11th day of the waning moon. And according to this pastime in Satya Yuga, there was a very powerful demon called Mura. And it was said that the Lord was actually resting, and this powerful demon came and he was about to attack the Lord. From the Lord's body came Ekadashi, this beautiful young maiden, and she killed Mura. And when the Lord woke up, he saw what she had done and he blessed her. Being pleased with her act of killing the demon, Lord Vishnu named her Ekadashi and granted her a wish that if a person observes fast on this day of Ekadashi, which falls on both the waning and waxing moon, then he will be able to free himself from all sins and attain the Lord's transcendental abode. So this is why Ekadashi is such a special fast. And Ekadashi requested that if anybody fasts on her day, they should get these two boons. So there's also another pastime that's described in the Puranas by Srila Vyasadeva to Jaimini Rishi. Lord Vishnu created Papa Purush, who punishes sinful people. So once Vishnu went to Yamaraj's abode and he heard the screams of the punished souls and he felt great compassion. So at that time, from Lord Vishnu's body manifested this incredible compassion known as Ekadashi, meaning one of his servants. Dasi means servant, Ekadasi, one of his servants. And she said that anyone who serves Vishnu by chanting his name on this day should be saved. And Vishnu granted that wish. So it was very simple. Anybody who chants. So everybody started chanting Vishnu's name on Ekadasi. And Papa Purush, Yamraj, he was made redundant. So he complained to Vishnu, what is the purpose of my existence? If everybody's going back to Golok or Vaikuntha, I am redundant. So Vishnu also had compassion on Papa Purush because he's given this task to Yamraj to punish. And if Yamraj can't do his task, Vishnu also becomes unhappy. So he said that, okay, we'll do something like this. When the days of Ekadashi come, you, Papa Purush, can enter into grains. And anybody who eats grains on those days will also be eating sin. So Papa Purush is in fear of Ekadashi. On those days of Ekadashi, he resides in grains. And this is Prabhupada's purport in Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto, 4th chapter, 29th verse. So what does fasting actually mean? Fasting means upavas, and there are two meanings of Ekadasi. There's the external meaning, which is the fasting from the grains and the beans on the 11th day of the waxing waning moon. And then there's an internal meaning. Upavas means to get closer. Get closer to who? To Krishna. Through our 11 senses, Ekadasi. 11 senses. So what are the 11 senses? Actually, what are the 11 senses? Let's have a little test. Make sure everybody's awake, including myself. Anybody remember the 11 senses? Apart from Rianj.
First one is mind.
Yeah, the mind is regarded to be the chief of all the senses.
Tongue.
Tongue, taste, sight, hearing,
Yeah,
and touch.
yeah,
Hearing,
then-
touch.
yeah,
These are the sense organs, and then the sense objects
yeah,
are the 10 ones, and including mind
Mind,
adds up
tongue,
11.
eyes, ears,
yeah,
nose,
yeah,
smell,
yeah,
Smell, sight,
sight,
home,
sight, touch.
yeah. That's good. Hands, genitals, they're the working senses. So there's the senses and the sense objects. So senses and the sense objects. So senses are the hearing, seeing, touching, tasting, and what's the other one? Smelling. And then we have the objects of those senses as well. So that's the 10 senses. Very good. So the idea is that we reduce our basic needs of eating and sleeping so that absorption in Krishna through the 11 senses increases. So this absorption is so important. And we'll see that in the 7th canto, how absorption is so important in our spiritual lives. And just to let you into a little taster, Narad Muni describes to Yudhishthir about how Kamsa and Shishupal, even they attained Krishna because they were so absorbed, negatively, of course.
Mm.
But their absorption was 100% in Krishna. So that purified them. Even though they were blaspheming Krishna, they were still absorbed in Krishna consciousness fully. And at one point, Narad Muni even says, they were better than I am because they're completely absorbed. Of course, he's being very humble because he's a pure devotee. And we, of course, want to serve Krishna in a favorable way rather than an unfavorable way. So, Srila Prabhupada, Naniben, yeah, did you want to say something?
No, sorry.
Okay, no, that's fine. He explains in the Nectar of Devotion, Ekadasi Vrat means to completely absorb oneself in Krishna consciousness. So that's the idea of this Vrat, to try to do as much as one can to remember Krishna. The basic principle is not just to fast, but to increase one's faith and love for Krishna. One should increase chanting and reading on Ekadasi. Often devotees will chant 25 rounds on Ekadasi or more. One devotee we know, he does 64 rounds every Ekadasi. There's another devotee we know who does 108 rounds every Ekadasi. So the more one can chant, the better. More one can read, the better. What are the types of fasting? Different types. Complete fasting without water every 2 weeks. It provides the soul, it means the soul can feast, not on the ego, but on devotional service. It's possible to feast on ego as well. You don't, hey, I'm fasting completely. You know that? Not many devotees can do that in this world. That's feasting on ego. But actually, the feasting should be on the bhakti. So when one fasts completely, then one gets the full benefit of doing Ekadasi. Ideally, one should also not sleep at all at night. So that's quite challenging. I've tried it a few times, but I must admit, it's not easy. Of course, not having water can build up acids in the body. So one has to be careful. One has to, according to one's bodily capacity, do the fast. Not that we fast and forget Krishna. It's better to have something and remember Krishna. So it's sometimes better to have some water if one gets acidity. So having regular sips of water helps. And the example is about Ambarish Maharaj. He was fasting for a full year, and it was time for him to finish the fast because the auspicious moment had come. But a guest came at that time, Durvasa Muni. And Durvasa Muni came and he wanted to, for Ambarish to serve him. But he said, I am going to have a shower in the Ganga first. And Ambarish was in a bit of a perplexed situation because he had to finish the fast in order to get any benefit from the fast. But he couldn't finish the fast because the guest had come. So his advisors told him, if you simply have water, that is considered as both finishing the fast and at the same time not finishing the fast. So you will be finishing the fast, but at the same time respecting your guest. But when Durvasa Muni found out through his mystic powers that Ambarish had water, he became very angry, and he plucked out a piece of hair and turned that piece of hair into a monster about to devour Ambarish Maharaj. But actually the Sudarshan Chakra of Vishnu came and destroyed the monster, and he ran after Durvasa Muni. So this is a wonderful pastime. We'll come across that pastime later in the Bhagavatam. If water and fruit juices are not enough to keep high energy levels for spiritual purposes, then one can take fruits, vegetables, nuts. According to some Vaishnava traditions, not all vegetables are suitable for Ekadasi. This can get confusing. So it's best to keep a very simple diet on Ekadasi, so that more time can be spent on spirituality. Now, Jayanti is going to blind us with a bit of science.
Not really. Okay, so the Ekadashi book actually says that the foods that can be taken on Ekadashi, so all fruits, fresh and dried, all nuts and oils made from nuts, potatoes, pumpkin, cucumber, radish, squash, but not loki, green papaya, lemon, jackfruit, avocado, olives, coconut, buckwheat, all sugars, and all milk products. So that is the strict version of doing the Ekadashi Vrat, and also having some Ekadashi Prasad. It also says that foods that are restricted during Ekadashi are things like tomatoes, eggplants, cauliflower, broccoli, bell pepper, peas, chickpeas, all types of beans, all products made from beans, things like karela, loki, parmar, drumsticks, okra, all leafy vegetables like spinach, salads, cabbage, leafy herbs, even curry leaves and neem leaves, and all grains as well should be avoided. That is for someone who is doing the strict Ekadashi vrats. But Srila Prabhupada, as Nabi mentioned earlier, said that it's only grains and beans that should be avoided. So devotees still have some vegetables like cauliflower and potato and carrots and tomatoes and peppers as well.
Nanivan?
Yes. Loki is dudhi, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's not allowed.
it's not allowed according to this. Yes.
But Srila Prabhupada says it's okay.
Yeah,
That's right.
Okay.
yeah. There's certain vegetables which seem to be not allowed according to the strict way to fast Ekadashi.
Yeah, it's usually vegetables with lot of seeds, because loki or dudhi has lots of seeds. If you look at it, even like tomatoes as well has lots of seeds. Aubergine as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that is the reason why those vegetables are not allowed.
Okay.
Sorry, Naniman?
No, that's fine. I thought dudhi was allowed. So dudhi, courgettes. So no.
I mean, it depends on how strict you want to be.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, grains and beans are good enough. That's what Prabhupada has
Yeah.
said.
Yes, so we'll follow Prabhupada.
Yeah. We go with Prabhupada.
It is always correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
And the reason he said that was because he wanted devotees really to focus on bhakti as opposed
Yes.
to their diet.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So it makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes
I mean,
sense.
our Guru Maharaj avoided all the other vegetables
Yeah, he would just
on
have
Ekadashi.
potato and sweet potato, wasn't it?
No,
Mainly.
not potato. He had
No, didn't have
a
potatoes, no.
mogo, cassava.
Mogo,
Yeah.
yeah, cassava.
Oh, yeah.
True.
Okay.
Good. Okay, so let's look at some of the, with these things, there's always some material benefit as well. We're not really too bothered about the material benefits. Oh, Rianch, yes.
Prabhuji, I am eating samar dosha.
Samo dosa, that's fine. Samo is okay. That's not a grain.
That's good.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Well done.
You must teach us how to make samor dosa, Riyansh.
Yes, Mata.
Yeah. Yeah, please send the recipe, or when we come to Hyderabad, we'll come to your house.
Okay,
Samo.
Mataji.
Thank you, Riyansh, beta.
I was just going to say that. Nani, when you took words out of my mouth.
Yeah, I never heard about it. To samor dosa.
Has anybody made samo dosha apart
Yeah,
from Rianch's mom?
I've
I
made,
tried.
Did you?
I have made samo dokra. They turn
Oh,
out
yeah.
nice.
Dhokla,
Yeah.
yes, but no samor dosa.
Similar.
Yeah, I made samo dosa in the Purushottam mass.
Yeah.
When we were doing Ekadashi. Yeah.
Easy to make?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. You can get the samo flour now, you see, so we don't have to do the grinding and everything and use
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Samor flour. Hmm.
It's in the Ekadashi cookbook, Nani Ben.
Yes.
So,
I must get one from you because I have misplaced mine. I can't find one.
oh,
Oh, we're just about to order, so we can order
Yes,
we
please.
order it for you? Yeah, we
Yes,
can.
yes,
Yeah,
please.
we'll order it for
because
you.
we're going to
Yeah,
place an
yeah.
order tonight, so
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can do that.
And if you
Oh,
need
can
anything
you
else,
order? Can you order me as well, please?
Yeah,
We
Ekadasi.
had ours and it's been given to somebody. We never got it back.
yeah, we can do that.
Don't make that mistake again.
No, I won't
Giving
do
away Ekadashi book is not a good idea.
that. And
We'll get 3 or 4 in case other devotees ever need.
okay, and there's another thing. I don't know if you use it, Jayanti.
Hmm?
Is Ekadashi hing?
Yes,
So if you are going to order, would you order me 2
They
little?
don't have that.
yeah, they only do books and things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't trust, I would only trust Chapati temple.
Yeah, we got ours from the Radha
Okay.
Gopinath temple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right then. Thank you. No problem.
Can I order a book as well, please?
Of
Yes,
course.
yes.
Very nice.
We're personally going to come and deliver these and expect some. Oh no, hang on. We'll have to post them to you and then we'll come and deliver them.
After 21st of June, I think you can come down.
It's a long wait.
Yes.
Practice cooking till then.
Yeah, well done. Good idea.
It's a good idea. Yeah. And we'll ask your daughter, how's it going?
There's
Thank
quite a good selection of recipes in that book.
Yeah.
Great. Thank
So there's always material benefits. Even like when you're fasting, there will be some unknown material benefits that will just automatically accrue. Pious credits, they're called. So nothing to do with the body as such, just good karma. We're not necessarily too interested in good karma because even good karma keeps us in this world. But sometimes it just gives us a little bit more impetus when we realize that, oh, fasting can have actually a beneficial impact on our consciousness, the mind, and the body as well. So we did a little bit of research, and there's some interesting things that have transpired. We did this long time, about a few months ago. So there's a Japanese cell biologist, Yoshinori Oshumi. He won a Nobel Peace Prize apparently in medicine 2016 for his research on how cells recycle and renew their content, a process called autophagy. Now, fasting apparently activates this autophagy, which helps slow down the aging process and has a positive impact on cell renewal. And it's associated with longevity. So this is an interesting picture. Nothing to do with what I just said, but scientists have found that fasting for 12 hours or more, or up to 24 hours, can trigger this autophagy. And there's a large body of research that connects fasting with improved sugar, blood sugar control, reduced inflammation and weight loss, as well as improved brain function. So fasting can have quite a good impact on our body. And of course, any good impact on our body can mean we can intensify our absorption in Krishna consciousness. So that's one of the benefits, to increase longevity and also look young. Hence why I still look 21. Of course, Jayanti disputes that. Scientific research discovered that calories intake needs to be reduced by 25%. And after extensive experiments, they determined that this can be attained by fasting once every 2 weeks for 36 hours, which somehow by coincidence is the same amount of time if you're fasting on Ekadasi, by every person between the age of 8 and 80 years old. So Rianch, you're not even 8 yet and you're fasting. Very impressive. So we are constantly eating and making our... Sorry?
This is complete fasting.
So?
This is complete fasting, not eating.
Yeah, might be complete fasting. Yeah, probably. We are constantly eating and making our stomach work hard to digest the food, right? I don't think anybody can deny this. Thus, to give the stomach a rest every couple of weeks is a very good way to also detoxify the body. So a break in eating every now and then can help us reduce weight of the body, help us become mentally strong. I do find that, I must admit, that you do, on the day itself is a little bit of a struggle, but you just keep focused. But it certainly does make you strong mentally, especially after the fast. The moon controls the mind. So fasting when the moon is very active on the 11th day will help us control the mind. So it's said that on the 11th day of the waxing and the waning moon, the mind becomes extraordinarily active. So fasting can help us control that mind. So why no grains? So sins reside in grains on the 11th day, and it may be difficult for some people to accept or understand this. And we understand that as well. That's why not many people fast on Ekadasi. It is a question of faith. But I think once you fasted on Ekadasi a few times, you realize actually this is a day I can't do without. I have to fast on Ekadasi. When we cook grains, ordinarily the consciousness of the cook is transferred to the grains. So if one is cooking angrily, that consciousness shifts into the grains, and whoever's eating it will also get that same consciousness. So the moon, back onto the moon again, it causes high and low tides, and it also adds taste to vegetables. Now, again, some research has been done that the maximum pull of the moon and the creating of the high tides is between the 10th and the 12th day, the Sami and Dwadasi. So that causes apparently more water to be retained in the body through grains, which is not flushed out. Water should be flushed out, but that water in the grains on these days between the 10th and the 12th, that water is retained in the body, and it makes us a little bit more bloated. So 75% of the body consists of water, as generally the scientists say. So there is this is a reason to avoid grains, another reason for avoiding grains on the 11th day, because then we won't be having those grains where water is there's so much water in those grains and it doesn't get flushed out. So another physical reason, biological reason why fasting on Ekadashi is recommended. So quite interesting. Should not fast on Dasami, the day before, of the 10th day. And sometimes part of the day, maybe Dasami. So we avoid that day. Don't fast on that day. Should fast on Ekadashi day. Or Dwadashi. Dwadashi is fine as well to fast on. So it's either a pure Ekadashi day, so no Dasami comes into it, or it floats between Ekadashi and Dwadashi. That's fine as well. Or it might even just be Dwadashi. It said Dwadashi is even more auspicious to fast on. And the fast should be completed on the day after Ekadashi or Dwadashi with water, if one is doing nirjal, or grains within a certain time period, which depends on the muhurtas, the auspicious times. So like tomorrow, in the UK, one should complete their fast between 6:55 when the sun rises and 10:28. Now, why 10:28? Let's see if we can work that one out. No, we can't. There's a good reason why 10:28. Sometimes there are differences of when devotees of other groups fast. Sometimes I think the Shivites, they would fast generally on the first Ekadashi. If there's just two Ekadashis, they would fast on the first one. So that's why it gets a little confusing sometimes. And then we also have a look at the timings of the moon. So in Bharat, who is 5.5 hours ahead of the UK, the day of Ekadashi may be a different day than the UK or other parts of the world. And this is a nice point that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he requested his mother to do Ekadashi. So she wasn't doing, and he noticed when he was a young boy, and he asked her, please, can you do Ekadashi? Mm-hmm. And just another point, if one does the full fast, one gets the full benefit. If one eats once in the evening, one gets half the benefit. And if one eats it once in the afternoon, you get, I think it was a quarter of the benefit. Yeah. Mm. So that's what we wanted to share. Did you want to say something else?
Mm. Yeah, just a couple of things from this introduction, from this Ekadashi book. So it's saying that in the Mahabharata Uddagyo Parva, it's quoted in Hari Bhakti Vilash that water, fruits, roots, milk, ghee, satisfying a Brahmin, following the instruction of a spiritual master, and medicine. These 8 items don't break one's vow of Ekadashi. So one is allowed to take your normal medication on Ekadashi as well. Because some people, think, they can't take medication and they don't take it, but it said, you can take any of your medication on Ekadashi. It doesn't break that vrat.
Have to be practical, because the body is the body. You don't want to unnecessarily cause difficulties for the body, especially if it takes you away from absorption in Krishna consciousness. Any questions, any comments, anything that you think, that sounds a little dodgy? Welcome to ask.
Prabhuji,
Yes, Nanivan.
Dwadashi, do people fast? I've never heard anybody fasting on the Dwadashi.
If there's a Ekadasi and there's a Mahadwadasi, we would fast on the Mahadwadasi. And that would be specified.
Okay.
So, for example, tomorrow is Dwadasi, but today is the days recommended for the fast. Because tomorrow is Varaha Dwadasi. It's the appearance of Lord Varaha. But for some reason, we're not fasting tomorrow. And the reason is actually Triyodasi starts at 12:30 in the afternoon. Triyodasi, generally, we would fast before Triyodasi comes in, generally. It's a little intricate, but luckily there's some good...
Yeah, usually Mahadwadashi is when Ekadashi is missed out, and it's from Dasmi, it goes straight into Dwadashi. So then it's called Mahadwadashi. So that's when you'd fast on Dwadashi, because you don't have an Ekadashi at that time.
Yeah. It usually goes on the ISKCON calendar, isn't it? You say
Yes.
Yeah, we just go by that,
Yes.
usually, yeah. And sometimes when the Ekadasi is not 1.5 hours before sunrise, then it's considered tainted. So if it doesn't start 1.5 hours before sunrise, we wouldn't do that Ekadasi, we would do the following day, which would probably be Dwadasi. So it does get a little complex. But luckily there's a nice app, GCal, which calculates everything, and we just follow it like puppets. It's fine. It's fine.
Just one more thing that I found is some devotees in Jagannath Puri say that there is no fault in accepting the Mahaprasad from Jagannath on Ekadashi. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada has said that in his explanation in his Anubhashya commentary of Adi Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita, he says that if one disregards the vow of Ekadashi, he brings ruination to his life. So one should simply respect the grain prasad on the day of Ekadashi and save it for the next day, for the effect of Ekadashi no longer remains on the next day. So you know, sometimes devotees, like especially in the main temples, they would make some grain offerings for the deities because Lord Krishna does not do Ekadashi fast. So on in that case, what you do is you keep that aside, you respect it, you just do pranam, and then you honor it the next day. You can also do that at home as well. If you want to offer grains, you can offer grains, but you should not take it on Ekadashi.
Then we take it on the next day.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't. Okay, so Krishna doesn't. He doesn't.
He doesn't fast.
He doesn't fast.
Yeah. So if you look at all the ISKCON temples, they offer grains to all the deities except to Prabhupada. So Prabhupada's plate will not have any grains. Everyone else would have grains on their plates.
And maybe go on Thai.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
The treaty must be.
Mm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah.
Hmm.
Anybody else? Not even any other questions?
No, no problem.
Surinder, anything you'd like to share? You usually have a mantra. These are not mantras. Aruna?
Krishna Dandavat
Oh, Aruna.
Yes, Prabhu. It's very nice Katha about Ekadasi.
Mm.
It's also mentioned in Prema Vivarta about Ekadasi.
Mm.
And then in Jagannath Puri, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra with the devotees whole day, whole night. And then some devotees, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and others had brought Mahaprasadam from Jagannath temple. And Gauranga Mahaprabhu and the devotees offered respect to the Mahaprasadam. And the next day they honored it after bathing in the river. Yes. I remember first times. Also about fasting is that like we have to be careful about when we are diabetic.
Oh, yeah.
Long time ago, when I was a young man, when I was serving in ISKCON in Mauritius, my service on during Krishna Janmashtami was because I was a nurse, so the devotees allocated me to be like a first aider. Devotees got injury or sick, etc. So I remember one Krishna Janmashtami. Generally, we fast full fast on Krishna Janmashtami, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. So one Mataji, she collapsed.
Aha.
Yeah, she had collapsed. She was fasting, full fast, and we were told that she was diabetic. And then she had collapsed. So my service was to attend. And then when I saw her, she was fully unconscious. Then we had to put her in a car and took her to the nearest hospital.
Yeah.
She was admitted with a drip of glucose, etc. Like that. So we have to be a bit careful. So when I returned to the program, Krishna Janmashtami, so it was about 11:30. And then I realized that my mother also is diabetic. She had been fasting, full fasting as well. So I got scared. She might collapse as well. So I requested her to break the fast. Take some halwa. Devotees had cooked many preparations. And then she was resisting. She said, no, half an hour, I'll wait more. Attend the Aarti, Krishna Janmashtami, and then I'll break fast. But I was so scared that I brought the halwa and forced her to take the halwa. Because I was insistent, and then she took it. Nevertheless, I remember this moment.
Very good. Nice
Sharing.
sharing. Nice for sharing. Very
Thank
good.
you.
Hare Krishna.
You mentioned about tomatoes, so but then
Yes.
afterwards you said you can eat tomatoes. So I put my tomatoes in the Ferrari Batatanu shack.
That's fine.
So that's
fine. That's fine. Yeah, I was saying if depends how strict you want to be, but Prabhupada allowed all these vegetables, so that's fine.
and that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
Anybody else? Madhusan Prabhu?
Yeah, he's
Audible? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's quite good listening to the pastimes and the Katha as well, and then fasting and Ekadasi is, important. So it's quite important that we focus more on Krishna on this day. And in this lockdown, you do get a bit creative with your Ekadasi feasting or fasting. But it's nice, actually. I always enjoy Ekadasi fasting, actually, and it's nice to do it, But no, thank you for the katha, and
Yeah, actually, I was finding I was eating far too much on Ekadasi. And that's one of the reasons I stopped eating, because Ekadasi Prasad is so delicious. So I end up eating more than normal.
yeah, if you keep it simple, and you can be fairly creative, but keep it light, and then you're okay. I mean, there are 10 different types of potatoes, so you can go for jacket potato or
Yeah, true.
mashed potato, or you can it depends on chips or this or that, but no, it's nice, actually, but yeah, I always fasted Ekadasi, so it's but as I've gone older, and I'm diabetic as well, and I'm on medication. I've had my bypass, and if I don't go for a walk and all that, and recently I had a call on me and saying, you've been on these tablets for too long, we got to see, are you testing? I said, no, I'm not testing my blood or anything like that. Then they said, no, you must do it. You must. This is probably the 10th machine that they've given me.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, to
diabetic.
test,
Right.
Diabetic, blood test. You keep doing this, and I wouldn't bother because they keep changing the strips, and then the machine is different, and so they asked me to pick it up from the pharmacy, I mean the surgery, and I got it again, and now I got to keep an eye on it. So walk, I need to do some exercises, but in this lockdown, all you can do is walk if it's a nice weather. So yeah, I went for a long walk today, did my rounds.
Right.
But that's what you can do, but nice, but you got to listen to your body. That's very important. And although you fast, but your body should be able to make you focus on Krishna and chant, and yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Nice. Thank you.
Anybody
Hare
else?
Krishna to everyone.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Leela?
Prabhu, can you explain to me the waxing moon? I don't know what it means. I've seen it.
Waning and the waxing. Yeah, waxing is when it's no moon, Amavasya, and then it's starting to slowly appear every night. That's waxing. So waxing means it's going to become a full.
It's getting bigger.
Moon. And then the waning is the full moon, and it's waning. It's slowly becoming less and less and less and less, and then soon it'll be Amavasya, no moon. Does that make sense?
Yes. So you said Amavasya is when there's no moon, yeah?
Yeah.
That's Amavasya.
Right. That's right. That's Amavasya.
And okay, yeah, I understand. Yeah, thank you,
the day
Prabhu.
after Amavasya is the waxing moon appearing.
Yeah.
Slowly, and it'll wax and it'll become full.
It depends on the crescent. It goes from dark to light, and then from light to dark. So the crescent shape and the moon is different. So yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu, for explaining.
Yeah. It gets a bit confusing sometimes. Good. Okay, if there's nobody else, we can. Sorry. Oh. Okay, so Rianch is having exams. Oh, wow. Okay.